1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Everybody's on that side.
Alright, class. Well, today I'm going to be talking about the Manhattan Project. And the purpose of the Manhattan Project was to create an atomic bomb. And the bomb's sole purpose was for mass destruction. The only purpose for the atomic bomb to be created was for mass genocide. And 5 important points that I'm going to be discussing today about the Manhattan Project are the origins of the Manhattan Project, Einstein's involvement of the Manhattan Project, how the atomic bomb works, the impact of the Manhattan Project after World War II, and the effect it has on Japan to this day. So, in this picture right here, this is a secret nuclear facility in Tennessee. And basically, the Manhattan Project, the name of it, there was actually no nuclear facility in Manhattan. It was just to deter spies or anyone else like Germans trying to discover about the project. And basically, there were facilities in New Mexico, Washington, and Tennessee. And Phelan, who was a PBS writer in 2016, stated in his article that the scientists felt morally obligated to create this bomb. So during World War II, the Allies had 2 decisions. They could have either, 1, not made the atomic bomb and possibly let Germany create a weapon of mass destruction, or 2, they could go ahead and make this bomb so they could defend themselves against Germany if they need to. This was kept a secret for a while. So now, about Einstein's involvement. So in this picture right here, Einstein is talking to a colleague. He's writing a letter to President Roosevelt. And Einstein was a pacifist. He was a Jew who fled Nazi Germany. Basically, he wanted to deter President Roosevelt away from creating an atomic bomb. He thought that the bomb, there's no place for a weapon of mass destruction like that in this world. And Macias, in 2015, who is a correspondent for Business Insider's military defense system, she stated in her article that Einstein's knowledge, his formulas, his theories, is what helped the U.S. actually make the bomb. Even though he didn't want the bomb to be created, his formulas and his theories showed the U.S. that it was theoretically possible to make this atomic bomb. And Roosevelt decided to go ahead and make this bomb regardless of what Einstein actually said. So now you need to know how the atomic bomb worked. So in this picture right here, this is the little boy. This is the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. So basically, this explosive charge explodes, hits the uranium bullet, it goes through the barrel, hits the uranium sphere, and then the tamper, and then it explodes at that point. And Fuller, who in 2014 wrote an article, he's also the editor for HowStuffWorks.com, stated that the Manhattan Project basically sparked an arms race against the US and the Soviet Union to see who could basically create like the strongest nuclear weapon. He also stated that the nuclear bomb is basically the most powerful and destructive weapon that the human race could possibly ever make. He also stated in his article that in 1919, a physicist named Rutherford, he actually discovered the proton. And in 1932, Rutherford's associate Chadwick discovered the neutron. So without these discoveries, the atomic bomb would have never been created. So basically how the atoms of an atomic bomb would work is a neutron would strike the nucleus of an atom, and then that nucleus of the atom would knock out other neutrons free, and then that cycle would keep repeating over and over, and that would be the explosion. So now that you know how the bomb works, you're going to need to know about the effects of the Manhattan Project after World War II. So these are the scientists that were basically involved with the Manhattan Project. So after the Manhattan Project, they were basically horrified about what happened to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They saw the videos, they saw evidence of what happened to the civilians that were destroyed, basically. And Bridger stated in 2015 in her article, and she's an author of Scientists at War, she stated that the scientists were morally obligated. They felt like they had a moral responsibility to uphold to because they had this weapon of mass destruction at their disposal. And Bridger also stated that JFK, when he became president, he actually wanted to control the nuclear bombs. He was in for arms control. His advisors persuaded JFK to push away from Eisenhower's nuclear bomb philosophy, because Eisenhower was one of the previous presidents who really wanted America to be a powerhouse. So now you're going to need to know the effects, the atomic bomb's effects on Japan. So this is Hiroshima right here. Hiroshima was basically completely destroyed. Frame, who is a publicist at Washington State University in 2015, stated in his article that this bombing affected the Japanese society. Even to this day, even though Japan doesn't really have a grudge on the U.S. anymore because of the bombing, it was just such a massive killing that it's just scarred the Japanese history. And on August 6, 1945, Hiroshima was bombed, and the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima was called the Little Boy. And then a couple days later, on August 9th, 1945, Nagasaki was bombed after that, and the bomb that was dropped on them was the Fat Man. And in each killing, in each bombing, 50 to 100,000 people were killed in each city, and then thousands more after just because of the radiation. And those are the 5 main points that I've described today. And I hope with the knowledge that I've equipped you, you learned a little bit more about the Manhattan Project.